anyway, hi and welcome. My name is Avra Robinson, and I'm an instructor with EdTechTeacher. So on behalf of all of us, you've heard it before, but welcome. We are so happy that you're here. I have been an educator for, I'm just aging myself here, but 25 years in August. I started out in the classroom. I was third grade. I did kindergarten, and then I spent the bulk of my career teaching K through 8 technology and being the technology coach and coordinator, and basically just kept everybody's email going because, you know, the important stuff, right? So I'm excited today to talk to you about not only digital storytelling, but also Canva for EDU. How many of you use it? Yay, all right. So you're here because you're looking for more ideas, or because you just already are like you've drunk the Kool-Aid, right? I was just saying to Andy that I feel like it's a little bit like heroin. I'm not actually addicted to drugs, but once you get sucked in, it's really awesome. For years, I've wanted to make stuff, but I was trying to give credit where credit was due, not break too many copyright laws, you know, in terms of graphics and clip art and images. The kindergarten teacher in me, it's like grown-up coloring, okay? So there's so many cool things you can do in it, and I'm a huge proponent of student creation and getting kids making cool stuff, and we can do that with Canva. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to start with just a little bit of background and ideas around digital storytelling. So let me kick it off. If you have questions along the way, if you have thoughts, please feel free to just jump in. I'm so happy to be in person. It does not need to be me talking the whole time. If I show something and you do it differently, or if you want to add something, please feel free. I'm not a fan of holding all questions to the end or anything like that, okay? All right, let's get started. So, what do the words digital storytelling mean to you? Anybody? Nobody?
Telling a story with a computer.
Telling a story what?
With a computer.
With a computer, absolutely. Telling a story with a computer, telling a story digitally. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Sound, photograph.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Multimedia.
Absolutely, yeah. So exactly, it's a combination. Oh, it's a combination of a bunch of stuff. And what I think it does is it empowers our kids to be able to kind of tell the story of their own learning, and it sometimes allows us to publish. And by publish, I don't mean necessarily put it out there on the web for everyone to see, but share our work beyond just right here, right? And so I think it can be really a powerful way for students to do that. I always, and if you were in my last session, I always think about, kids connecting with content. And I think when there's an emotional connection there because they've created something, then they remember things more. So it also, you guys, is going to allow our kids to practice communication skills. So when we think about something like this, this could be digital storytelling simply by turning on Screencastify and allowing him to hold up his poster and talk about his process. Reflect on his process. Think about what he learned as he created this poster, right? So I don't want you to think in terms of it just being like the fiction story or, the typical story with a beginning, middle and end. While that is definitely digital storytelling, it can be way more than that as well. So when we think about getting kids creating, we know that when they're constructing knowledge, it's so powerful. And we know that it provides these awesome experiences for them. So I love the Piaget stuff, but I also love what Common Sense Media says here. Students love to make and create, to demonstrate what they're learning. However, teachers know that the creative process isn't just about having students demonstrate what they know. It's about constructing mental models and learning through experience. And you guys, I said this in my last session, and I'll say it again. I'm not good with 3 bullets on a slide, and that's all. I want you to have something when when you are done. So you're going to have these slides, and that way you've got them. So forgive all the text on my slides, but that's just kind of how I roll. I also really, really feel strongly about student voice and choice. And I think it's important that we allow them to bring together exactly what this lady over here was saying, like all the different elements, right? So text and images and video and audio and all of that, pulling it all together and, letting them demonstrate whatever it is that you want them to demonstrate, whatever they've learned, in a new and creative way. So I think that's, a big thing with digital storytelling. When we allow kids some ownership, some autonomy over what they do, we empower them and we also reduce their anxiety, okay? Whenever you feel in control of a situation, your anxiety lessens. If you're fearful of something, it's because you can't control the situation. So I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid I'm going to plummet to my death off of a roller coaster. I can't control the situation. My best friend is afraid of wasps. She's afraid a wasp is going to sting her or land in her hair. She can't control the situation. Think about the things in your students' lives right now that they can't control. There's a lot going on in the world right now, isn't there? There's a lot of anxiety that they're feeling. So I think when we can give them back some voice and choice, it can be huge. It also strengthens their focus. I have a 5th grader who suffers from ADD, and when you let him do something he's interested in, he can focus just fine, right? But when he is stuck with a pencil paper task, he doesn't do as well. And I'm not saying that we can't have any pencil paper tasks, but when possible, can we allow our students to have some voice and choice? So teachers create the must-dos. Teachers create the requirements because we know what has to get done. We know the standards, we know our objectives. But then can we let them pick and choose in what order or how or where or when, right? So then also publishing. Publishing is huge. It just means sharing it with someone. You guys, about 7 years ago, I left the classroom and came to EdTechTeacher. And the thing I miss most is creating something, whether it's a cool activity, a neat bulletin board, even a fun-looking workshop, and running down the hall to my friend's classroom and being like, look, it's going to be so fun, right? I don't have that as much anymore. That's publishing. It's sharing with someone. It's sharing with a wider audience, someone beyond the teacher. So I think, when kids, and forgive me, those of you that were in my first session, but it's so important to remember, when kids create for the world, they make it good. When they create for their teacher, they make it good enough, right? So you know the difference between your students making something that they're just going to turn into you versus something you're going to have them share with their group or share with the classroom across the hall, or maybe you even go to a wider audience of parents or something like that. So thinking about that. And I was talking about this last time too. This is my daughter when she was in 3rd grade. She was Ronald Reagan, and she got to wear Papa's tie, Big Brother's shirt. She made an emotional connection to this night. It was an academic fair, and this is publishing circa 2008. Right? Whereas now I could have her turn on Screencastify and talk, and then I'd have a video of her, right? So this is all of these different things can be digital storytelling. So when you want to get into digital storytelling, if you're new to it, okay, and you're thinking, well, where do I get started? Start by asking yourself what the purpose is. What's your objective, right? And then when you're working with kids and they're starting to create their stories, you might want to be asking questions like, hey, what do I want my audience to think or feel during this experience? What elements will I include? There's a lot of planning that goes into digital storytelling. You have to collect your images, you have to collect your video, your audio, all of those different things. And if you do something as polished where maybe you're going to put music in there, which we can do with Canva, what will that music do? What kind of mood is it going to set as I tell my story? Where will I get my images? Well, this is what Canva does, okay? So Canva gives us thousands and thousands of copyright-free, beautiful, high-quality graphics, photos, animations. It's unbelievable. So I think it'll be really fun to take a look at. And you guys, when you're digital storytelling, it's a lot like the writing process. Because there's the preparation, there's the planning, there's the drafts, and then there's sharing it with someone, and then there's revising and editing. So it's kind of cool because it encompasses a lot of what we want kids doing anyway, all right? I'm gonna open that water. So I am a huge fan of reflection, and I think that as we work through the digital storytelling process, we can build reflection in every step along the way. And even if that's just a turn and talk, so say Brenda and I are working on something together, just turn and talk and say, what do you think about this? What are you thinking right now? What do you think we should change or watch this? Does the music line up with the words? Does it go too fast? All of those kinds of things. So, as you go through the process, and you can see this mirrors the writing process, right? We're brainstorming, we're planning, then we're creating and sharing, and then we're going to revise and edit and maybe eventually publish, right? And then reflection all along the way. So I've got lots of examples for you, and I'm going to kind of go quickly, but I want you to know that I'm going to give you these slides. I want to jump in and be able to show you stuff in Canva, okay? But I want to show you kind of all the different ways that we can do this. So if you're a language teacher or a social studies teacher, you're probably thinking, no problem, digital storytelling, I got it. But if they're science teachers or math teachers, they might be thinking, oh, I'm not sure that digital storytelling fits in, but it does. So, look at all the different language possibilities, right? Everything from kids teaching a skill or a concept to each other. That's digital storytelling. Hey, let's learn how to conjugate a verb or annotate text. When kids create videos for each other, they love to watch each other's stuff. So what if teachers took some of the stuff that they need to teach and let kids create stories, digital stories about them, right? And obviously fiction stories, writing something with vocabulary. You guys, these are links here too to some blog articles about like modernizing a fairy tale. So lots and lots of resources for you. But let's look at the math stuff too. When we think about math, you can get really creative, create a story of baseball statistics. So my husband used to teach math, and he would have kids, his 7th and 8th graders, create stories around statistics, and he'd build math concepts into them, okay? I love the be a decimal point, sharing your journey of being misunderstood and needing to clearly make a difference in the world, right? That was not my idea. I found that somewhere. But even just the simple documenting the steps to solving a math problem. That's kids creating a story. It's the story of their learning. It's the story of how to get from A to B, right? And I'll tell you what, they like watching each other's videos better than they like watching ours, right? So those are some math ideas for you. I've got science ideas in here, creating a weather report, document an experiment, anything that happens in a science classroom. You're going through the steps to a lab, right? Or you're maybe making a digital poster that talks about safety in the classroom, and then you lend your voice to it, put some audio or video in there, and you've got yourself a digital story, right? An interview with an animal, a fictional story weaving in the concepts from science. Lots and lots of possibilities. The social studies ones abound as well. So thinking about, historical events or historical figures, rewriting the end of a historical event, what if it ended differently, that kind of thing. So, lots and lots of ideas, just to give you some food for thought before we jump into Canva. And then I never want to leave out the arts, right? But lots of different things you can do with art and music as well. The creative portfolio of art or musical pieces, projects over time. Thinking about kids progressing through a set of skills. I even think about reading fluency. So are there any primary teachers here? K, 1, 2, 3? We always did reading fluency when I was teaching, and we'd have kids just practicing a passage. Well, what if they're recording their voice? Then they record it, and then you've got it one from each month. And by the end of the year, you have a little mini portfolio, even if it's just in Google Slides with Screencastify. And that tells the story of their ability to read, So I think there's just a ton of possibilities that you just have to kind of open your mind and get creative with it. And then all the stuff that happens around our school. I loved to ask kids questions about why we were doing events at school. So we'd have like a Veterans Day assembly. Hey guys, why do you think we're having this? Why do you think we're letting you come out of class and all of us get together in the gym and celebrate this event or whatever it is? Getting them to think about that and then going back and having them reflect on that experience can all become part of a digital story, and it kind of starts to chronicle all of the amazing things that are happening in schools. I think teachers are very driven, and we work really hard to get through everything. And sometimes, especially like in the last 18 months, it can be really easy to be like, oh my gosh, I had so much to do and I didn't get through it all. Taking time to chronicle learning can be a way to celebrate what did happen, the good stuff that did happen. And it's a chance for you all to stop and take a look and be like, look at what I did. This is pretty awesome. So just think about all these different possibilities, guys. From my perspective, it's really about combining the stuff that's the physical stuff that's happening in our classrooms, the analog activities, the stuff that are not on Chromebooks, not on iPads, but instead using the iPad, using the Chromebook, whatever your device is, to just record the video, record the audio, the chance for kids to reflect and for us to capture what's happening. Like right now, my colleague Tom has us using this swivel, and he's recording this session, which is making me very aware of how close I am to it. But you know, it's recording something that's happening, and we can do that in classrooms, and I think that's all digital storytelling as well. So I'm not going to play this, but I want you to watch it later. My friends that were in my first session watched it. It's a little kid's screencast where he solves the perimeter of a triangle was 20 centimeters. What could the side lengths be? And what I always encourage educators to think about is the end result. This is the answer. This is what you would see on the paper. Versus, it's like a 3 or 3.5 minute long video where he kind of walks through doing it. And you can see here just from the screenshot kind of thing from the video, he starts out thinking it's an equilateral triangle. So he's doing 3 times 5, 3 times 6, and 3 times 7 is too big. And you really listen to his thought process as you go through it. And it's really cool. I'm not going to take our time right now, but it's awesome because we start to figure out who he is as a learner. And you start to see his perseverance and his problem solving and his thought processes. And I think that's what happens when kids are able to start to tell the story of their learning. I think it's also really important to ask kids not only what they learned, and I loved that Carl was talking about reflection this morning, but even more like how they learned it and why they learned it. So if I were to ask you, like the last session you went to, what was something you learned and why did you learn it? Does anybody want to be brave and like answer that? Go ahead.
I'll say why I learned it because it had to do with me or what I need to know right now.
Yeah. You made a connection to the content. Yeah, you made a connection to the content.
It's relevant.
It was because it was relevant. Yeah, there's the word, right? But those kinds of words, like giving kids the chance to answer that question and having it become very commonplace. I think reflection needs to be just like the idea of assessment. It needs to be constant and not just after and never for homework. Don't make them reflect on what they learned for homework. That just seems like an afterthought, right? So can we get them thinking about why they learned it? So you guys, when I went to college, I had been a really strong reader in middle school and high school, and I thought college was going to be super easy. And I got in and was faced with all these heavy gen eds because that's, the beginning of a teaching degree. And I found myself with terrible grades for the first quarter or so, and I realized that I needed to read out loud the nonfiction. I'd always been a fiction reader. Well, so I can read a novel in a weekend, but you give me something heavier and I want to hear, for some reason I want to hear it at the same time. I figured that out at 18 and a half years old. If I had figured that out at 10, I would have been a stronger learner. It helps kids figure out. So when we allow reflection, and these processes do this, then it gives them a chance to figure out who they are as learners and what makes them learn more easily and why they struggle and how we can, get over those struggles. So when you think about digital storytelling, start thinking about what your purpose is. One purpose might be to make the thinking visible, which is what happened in that screencast. We really got a chance to see the child's thinking, okay? And it gives them a chance to verbally process. Are any of you verbal processors? When you get a new idea, do you want to go and talk to someone about it? I do, and that's one thing that I really miss working from home, because I've been working from home even before the pandemic. I'm a verbal processor, and it can drive the people in my family crazy because yap, 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 yap. But I need that, and I need someone to give me ideas back and go back and forth, and I think our kids are the same way. So by allowing them to record themselves and or talk with a partner, work with a partner, do this kind of stuff, it can be a really great way for them to get used to telling the story of their thinking, telling the story of who they are as a learner, getting them just to reflect, like I keep saying, the why and the how, excuse me, of learning, and getting them to just start thinking about if something was hard for you, what could make it easier next time, right? So, and then giving them the chance to demonstrate understanding. And getting the chance to see what they're thinking and what they're feeling, all right? These are all kind of my points to digital storytelling, and I've lost my water. So let's jump into Canva, okay? So what in the world is this Canva for EDU program? Well, it's awesome. It's free to begin with. completely free. So I was just talking with someone earlier, and I won't single him out, but he said that his colleague is paying for it right now. I was like, oh, gosh, no. Okay, with your educator status, it's a free tool. You can sign in Microsoft, you can sign in with Google, and your kids can use it too then, okay? So you can sync your classes with Google Classroom, okay, other LMSs as well, and it becomes a creation tool. It becomes a creation tool for you, first of all. I will just, tell you that wonderful secret, and that is that you can create things for your classroom and you will love it. If you fell in love with Google Slides and started creating some really cool things, did anybody make a Bitmoji classroom? That was fun because it's visually engaging. I felt like when teachers were doing that, it was the digital equivalent of a bulletin board, right? So especially primary teachers who get in and make their classrooms so bright and colorful. So it's a wonderful teacher creation tool. It has millions of high quality images. It's got built-in music that's free as well. So lots and lots of stuff we'll take a look at. And it also has a built-in video recording tool. Okay, so you can actually, using a Chromebook or a computer, you just actually, record video right within. Now, if you're on an iPad, it has an iPad app as well. So if your kids have iPads, you can just record with the iPad camera like you normally would and pull your video right in that way as well. So it's a great tool. Lots of different learning management systems that they're working on integrating it with, and lots and lots and lots of options for creativity. So some other big things that come up. It is COPA and FERPA compliant, okay? It does have a letter to send home, for 13 and under. So depending on your district, of course, follow the rules of your district and make sure that you can use it with kids, okay? And you may decide to be using it with your upper level kids versus lower level kids, depending on your district's rules. But you guys, it's got an easy background remover. So how many people use remove.bg to remove backgrounds from things, which is a really cool free website? Canva's got it built right in, okay? So fun, like green screen kind of pictures can be created, things like that. And it's also collaborative. So it's collaborative and it's as real time as Google. So two people can be in there working on stuff together. And it actually allows you to make groups too. So I know a lot of teachers I've worked with over the last couple of years wish that Google Classroom, would allow for smaller groups within a larger group. You can do that. You can create a group in Canva and be able to send out stuff to kids. There are templates in there, okay? So there's an easy way to get started. There's everything from digital worksheets to collaborative, mind maps. I'll show you all of them. It's incredible, okay? And from my perspective, a template is like that jumping off place, not only for our kids, which is huge, but also for us, just to give us food for thought. My colleagues will tell you that I'm creative. I don't feel like I'm creative. I feel like I need to go look at what other people are doing, and then I kind of like, oh, now I can think of something cool to do. But I need food for thought. I need verbal processing, and I need Canva and all our templates, because then I can make my own stuff. So what can we do in there, right? You guys, what you do is you start out, and it kind of is like a Google Slides or a PowerPoint. There could be multiple pages. Or it could be like a Google Drawings where it's a single canvas. You can make it whatever shape you want it to be. So there's all these different dimensions. It started out as a program that was like a graphic design program for social media. So there's the people that make their Instagram stuff and all that. They started out using it. My daughter pays for it actually, just to make stuff for her little website that she has. So you can make it in any dimensions that you want. If you want a Twitter graphic, if you want an Instagram story, if you want whatever. But then you can also download all of these things. So everything can be shared with a link, or you can download the individual files. And if you download the files, I'll show you in a little bit, it can be an MP4, it could be an animated GIF, it can be a JPEG, it could be a PNG file. There's just tons and tons of possibilities. So in terms of stuff you can make, presentations, absolutely. Videos, absolutely. Infographics, posters. And then they do actually, and I've never used this, so I don't know much about it, but there is a printing function. So where Canva will print for you, and you can make like name tags for desks and like classroom decor kits where everything matches and stuff like that. So there's that possibility instead of going on Teachers Pay Teachers and buying something, right? So let's take a look at some of this stuff. You guys, I'll give you these slides in a little bit. And there's a whole presentation in here that's Canvas, and I just wanted you to have it. So, is anyone feeling overwhelmed? This is my granddaughter. She's the light of my life, so I like to weave her into my slides whenever possible. You'll see her as I create. So how are we going to get started? Well, I would say, just follow your rules, right? So start with your, reviewing the COPA and the FERPA. Make sure that you feel okay. I've got a link to where, there's a place where people can put in broken stuff or inappropriate content. I've never come across anything that's inappropriate, but, start here, be safe, make good choices, right? Then you're going to want to sign up for an account. And my slides once again, you're going to click on them and you can, go in and say you're a teacher. And then you're going to decide whether you're going to pull students in at that point. And you can. So you can go to the People tab, and I'll show you this. And you can add, you can bring in your Google Classroom classes and that kind of thing. Just so you know, if there's any tech folks here, like higher level tech folks, you can sign a whole district up too. And that can happen. It all happens pretty quickly. They're not double checking too much, I don't think, because I've had people in workshops before be like, yep, I just signed up.
So I had signed up last year and I had to submit all this stuff, but now I signed up with my new district email address and it was instantaneous because they're all registered with
Canva, yeah, with the, yeah, so they know, like.
Yeah, so there was no wait time.
Yeah.
I didn't have to submit a picture of my thing like I did last year.
Gotcha. I hadn't had that experience having done it a while ago, so that's great to know. Yeah, I had someone, I was doing a Canva session with a district, and the district admin, tech admin lady was like, yeah, I just signed the whole district up, and she had done it while I was in the 1 hour session, so I knew it had to have been fast. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing your experience. I appreciate it. So, starting with the template, okay? Guys, I have videos in here. I have about 10 or 12 videos that I've just been making to share with people. So there's a whole thing in here on how to do it, but I'm going to show you. I think what's important to know, and you guys know this already probably, but when you give kids a template that's already been created, they can see kind of what's possible, and then they can go in and tweak, right? So if I double click on this, can I change the font? Ooh, I don't really want this to be pink. I want it to be blue. Can I change it? Not everything can be changed. There are some graphics in there. Some of them, they'll change into whatever color you want. You can use hex codes and everything and get really fancy. But some stuff is set, so we'll see the difference between that, okay? So we're not going to play this video. No. There we go. Okay, hundreds and hundreds of templates, which I already talked about. So think about what your learning objectives are for your kids, and then let's go in and figure out what's possible. So what are things that we could create, right? Infographics, green screen images, book trailer posters, mind maps, book reviews, historical figure posters, educational videos, comic strips. How many people want to make comic strips? They're so cool, right? You guys, when you make a comic strip in Canva, they give you like a template, and it'll start out with a couple little characters, cat and dog. And then they give you these things called illustration sets. So it's these, they're a little creepy, faceless cats and dogs in all these different poses. And then they have, part of the illustration set are little expressions. So you can put whatever expression on the face that you want. It's so cool. I'll show you. All right, so lots and lots of ideas in here. Ooh, I'm going to need to plug in. So let me just hop into canva.com, and then I'm going to grab my charger. So you guys, what I do when I come in here, this is kind of your Canva world, okay? And I usually head right up to the top where it says Search Canva, okay? You'll start to use the stuff down here down here on the left, okay? You can go into classwork and stuff like that. If you want to use Canva almost as its own little learning management system, you can assign work in Canva. Kids can turn it back. You can give them comments. You can give them stickers. Or you can do it all through your LMS, where you just push out an activity to kids through Google Classroom or whatever, okay? But what I'm going to do right now is type in comic strip. And then while I get my charger, I would like you to turn to someone at your table and tell them something you're thinking. Reflect on your learning. That's a great question. And Mindy just asked the same thing. No, it's the same. So, and Mindy and I were just chatting about whether or not littles could do this. Okay, so I'll tell you my story. When I was a kindergarten teacher, when I was a kindergarten teacher in 1997, I had a morning class and an afternoon class. So I had 43 of them, and I realized that during parent-teacher conferences, you don't drink soda. That has nothing to do with what you're asking. But I'm saying that there's a lot of little people, and if you're if you're a classroom teacher, it might be a lot to try to teach them this tool. If you're a tech teacher and they come to you for tech, you could absolutely teach it to them. So what you can do is, and I'll show you this in just a second, you pick a template if you want to start with a template, and you can push a template out to kids. And then they can just double click and change the word to their name. They can drag their own picture in or whatever it is, okay? So it's possible, it's just about how much time you're willing to devote to teaching the tool, okay? So you guys, this is comic strips, okay? And if you look in here, there's like hundreds, and you can just kind of scroll through them all and take a look at them, okay, and see what you like. And then what I do is I find one that I like, and I click on it, okay? So then this is what you get. This is the template, and it's got all these different pages. So the first page, you know, is like the example, and then the next page is going to be the blank one, and then these are those illustration sets that I was telling you about. So this is all the creepy little critters that don't have faces, okay? But then on the next page, there's all the illustrations of the expressions, okay? And then there's speech bubbles. All right, so these are all built into a template. And then on top of this, there's the millions of other images that they can bring in.
Two questions.
Yeah.
First is with this, can you combine two, like if you have one template that you use, but then you'd like, say, I don't know, facial expressions from another, do you know if you can combine them?
I think you probably can. I haven't tried it, but I would think so, because I feel like if I were to start, let me just hit apply all 5 pages and see what happens. And then what I'm going to do is I'm here, this is my Canva creation interface, okay? So this is what your students will see, and this is what you see. And over here, and I'm going to talk about these are all your tools, okay? Well, you can also search more templates in here. So if I went in and did comic strip, and I just searched, forgive me, I need readers, and I've not been willing to admit it. But like, I wonder if I could just add this then to that. I'm kind of making this up as I go, but say I liked these speech bubbles better. I wonder if I could, let me see, if I hit apply all 4 pages, that just changed it for me. I'd have to play with it and see, but there's probably got to be a way.
The other question is,
Yeah.
if you're making something on the educator thing instead of the pro version, do you still own everything you can create and publish it, like, you know, to your YouTube channel, to your website, and that goes out to not just your students, but to...
Yeah, that's a good question, and I'm not sure the answer to that one either. I'm 0 for 2. I have been. I've been using it, you know, with an educator account and doing that. I know there's a wonderful Facebook group where they answer questions right away, so I can reach out and ask those questions. I did see someone, and I didn't read the answer, but I saw someone like leave their school and want to go to another. Again, I don't know what the answer was, but in terms of like different Google accounts and things like that. So let me find out for you and then catch up with you if that's okay. Yeah, unless anybody else knows the answer to that question. I hadn't thought about those. So you guys, you know, this is one thing you can do. And then what you do when you find, hold on, let me just go back to my little kitty one. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. If I go here to share, okay, so there's a share button right here, then what you get is this drop-down menu. And it's similar to Google in that, you know, hey, I'm going to give you a link to edit, so I could like share it with Mindy, and Mindy and I could work on this together. Or I can share a link to use as a template. Okay, that'd be another way to be able to share it with a colleague or something. Or you could just share the link to view, and that's going to be the way that you could publish it, right, and share with others. You guys, when you do link it in with your LMS, though, you're not going to use that share button as much. You would come over here to the 3 dots in the top right corner, okay, and then you can see here, this is where like you could push it to Google Classroom, okay. So then when you're doing that, it kind of pops you in just like you would with anything else. You can continue, and then you know it's going to open up that mini box where then you can go in and create an assignment and all of that. Is that familiar to most people? Does anybody have a question about that? That's, you know, how you push something from Flipgrid or anything else, so you can push it. It takes you straight into Classroom. So you've got lots of possibilities when it comes to that. Go ahead.
If Classroom isn't an option for us and there's 3 dots, do you know how to add it there?
It might be that you might need to link your classes. So let me look at that for you and see, but that might be the issue. I have to think about how I did that initially. I think.
Under account settings, you have to connect it.
Is it up here? In here? Account settings. Yeah, so go to your account settings and see if you're able to connect, see if Google's connected, and then that's groups. Team details. I'm trying to remember how I did this. I have a video on it. I just did it a while ago. So let me look real quick.
I did that, and I haven't done anything else.
Is that they're working hard to integrate into different learning management. So currently,
You found it?
Canvas,
Sure.
I wasn't signed up as a teacher account, instead of general educator account.
And then, okay, great, good. Okay. All right, you guys, let me hop back here. Okay, hold on. Comic strips, and all right, so in Canva, I just want to show you, quick possibilities, and then I'm going to get in and kind of build some stuff with you, and that way you can see. Be aware that there are tons and tons of mind maps, graphic organizers. There's storyboards, templates. So if you are going through a whole process of creating a digital story with kids, this is a great way to get started. Great infographics where they can go in and they can take any one of these and change it to be whatever they want. So if you find just a template that you like, it doesn't have to be the planets. It could be the 9 steps to something else, right? So posters. Okay, I'm just giving you food for thought here, tons and tons of stuff. Everything from stuff that you might create yourself for your classroom to, stuff that kids might create to demonstrate their understanding of climate change or whatever it is, right? Thinking about announcements or an advertisement, a mock advertisement, those kinds of things. Taking a look at all the different shapes and sizes. Things can be square, they can be portrait, they can be landscape, they can be super long like the infographics. You guys, they have all of this already in here, right? Character analysis. This is one that I made that was like a book talk, okay? So let's take a look at this. I will only play this for a second because you do not need to watch me explain, but you can get a sense of, this is like a video collage, right? So we've got some text, and then we've got video. I recorded the video right within Canva itself, okay? Hold on. Let me do this with my
so I'm so excited to tell you about this book called Among the Hidden. It's written.
So pretend that that's like a really cute 3rd grader, okay, who's telling you all about his book that he read, right? So this kind of stuff, a lot of this stuff is already built in, and there's cute templates for it. You can add in any kind of animated GIF, and then you can export the whole thing as an MP4 or as a GIF. Either way, okay, so depending on what format you want it in. So, and then, pulling this right into slides is super fun. This is also an example of the background remover. So this is my son Cameron, and, with my birthday money, he and I went and bought a waffle iron, and so we were just doing a digital thank you note for my parents. So here's the cool thing. When you are making something in Canva, you can bring in audio, you can bring in video, you can bring in images, you can search for them in there, or you can bring in the stuff that you already own. Now it's weird. Canva only wants to allow you to have one audio clip for the entire project, but you can have as many videos as you want. So to kind of hack that, I was realizing that you can take your video that you bring in and you can make it transparent and hide it. So then that can become kind of the narration for a slide, for example. So let me show you an example. Not that one, hold on. Let me get to the one I want to show you. Hold on one second.
About a year ago, my wonderful daughter gave me the best present I've ever received. Hadley Blair was born on August 19th, 2020, right in the middle of the COVID-19 global pandemic. If we thought we loved her when she first got here, oh my goodness, when that smile arrived, it was all over from there. I'm completely smitten with everything she does. Look at how cute that little baby claps her hands.
First time grandma.
Absolutely just stare at her for hours, and I've found that it's the perfect way to relax.
All right, so let's break that down and talk about what I did there as I created it. So you guys, this is a combination. Oh, sorry, this is a combination of a lot of different things. Let's take a look. To begin with, so I've got this music playing in the background. Okay, you can pick an audio clip, and I wanted that because I wanted that soft, nice background music. Has anyone ever used the Adobe Spark programs? So you know how you can record like your voice just on each slide, and that's one of the things I love about that program. Well, so what I did here was I just created our video clips, and then I hid them, okay? So what we don't see in the finished product, hold on one second, let me get there. So I'm gonna go back to Canva, and I'm gonna go over here on the left-hand side to all your designs right here, and then I'll kind of scroll through until I find this, which is the story of Hadley. So let's take a look. In here, do you see this right here? That's a transparent video, okay? So if I were to go up to the top right corner, up there, then I could change the transparency, and you can see it's just me talking, okay? But it was kind of my way to be able to narrate each slide as we went along, okay? So there's transparency as you do things, okay? And I'm gonna break this down for you even more and just as we move along here. And a little animation over here. Kids will love that, right? Just a little dancing flower is super fun, okay? What I want you to notice about this one, multiple videos on one page. You can turn the sound down on one of them if you want to. So I'm over here talking about the video. So what if this is a kid working with math manipulatives over here, and then on the other side, it's him talking about his process or something like that. Or maybe it's him running in the playground and doing something for PE, and then over here on the side, he's talking. You know, and he's not just talking about being smitten about his grandkid, right? So, and then this, you guys, this whole kind of animation, I created in Canva, okay? So I just made a square template of sorts, and I just put 9 different, like it was like a slideshow, and I exported the whole slideshow as an MP4, okay, which is what made it move through each of the slides. I took that MP4 then and put it into this MP4, if that makes sense. So that's just a little bit more like some of the advanced stuff that you can kind of do. Go ahead, do you have a question?
Wondering, were those actual photos in the thing, or did you use the background remove to?
These were pictures my daughter took, so those were actual pictures at the doctor's office. But I'll show you the background remove is really awesome. So just lots and lots of possibilities here. Let me see if there was anything else in here I wanted you to know about. No, that's good. The one thing that kind of drives me crazy is that Canva will open up. All of a sudden, you'll be very tabalicious. For those of you that have used it before, do you end up with 10 tabs open and you're like, what the heck? Question?
The videos you recorded, did you record those in Canva or did you do it separately?
Some.
One that you hid.
Those were all in Canva. Yeah. I've started using Zoom when I create actual videos because there's a filter.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like what's the easiest way for the kids.
For the
to
kids,
have all of it in there.
it's all in there. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look, you guys, at creating something that kids could create, okay? Hold on one second. This is really small for me. Here's where I would start if I was gonna work with kids. That's not what I want. Hold on, I'm sorry. I gotta get back to just regular Canva here. Here we go. Okay, So where I would start if I were going to do this is I think I would start with an educational video, and I would just do a one-page something, okay? So let's take a look at what's possible here. I'm going to click on educational video, and then over here on the side, I can do more searching if I want, or I can just look and see what they've already got in here, okay? And this is where, you can take one and push it out to all your kids. Or if your kids are a little bit older and they're ready, they could search their own in here, okay? So let's just take this one right here. We'll click on Freya's, and I'm just going to do just this page, okay? And so here's what I have. I like this one especially because we can click on these different things here and see the color changing up here in the left-hand corner. So if a kid wanted that to be yellow instead, that's how he or she learns to turn it yellow, right? Same thing here, if we click on this and I want to put my name in instead, right? So I double clicked and I type my name. Now I'm well aware, having taught kindergarten, that that's a lot of steps, but it's possible. And if you've got older kids, it's going to be really, pretty straightforward for them. You guys, in Canva, there are these things called frames, okay? And what frames are is they're your magic way of being able to crop images or video. Now, that being said, you can absolutely crop them regularly too. So let me show you. I'm going to come over here. Right now I'm in templates. I'm going to go down to elements right now. And this is where you're going to see all of these different possibilities, okay? You've got lines and shapes, graphics, photos, videos. So there are videos, stock videos that are in there as well. And then lots and lots of audio, okay? You can come down to charts, and then frames are here at the bottom. Okay, so if I click on like this little flowery kind of frame, this now becomes something that I can drag a picture into, okay? So I could I could grab something that's already here in Canva, or I can go to the next option down to uploads, and I can go in and grab, any picture that I've uploaded from my device, okay? So this is where then I could take this, and when I drop it, it crops it into that. Now, if you don't like the crop, you can double click and you can change the crop. So I can go like this and get more of just her face, and I can move her around. You guys see how I'm doing that? Okay, so that's a possibility. Now let me delete that and just delete the frame too and just drag Hadley's picture over and show you also that there are handles. And I know it's probably hard to see, but this little guy right here and these here, those are all cropping tools too. So if I wanted, less of the background and more of her, I can do that as well. So it doesn't have to go into a frame, but it could. And you guys, that works not only with still images, but that also works with videos. So in uploads, there's 3 sections. There's images, video, and audio, okay? So if I come in here and grab this, okay, video of her, I can crop out some of it if I want to, okay? And that way then it's less of whatever. In fact, there's a better one I'll show you. Hold on one second, let me find it. A better example where we need to zoom in on her. Sorry, I'm trying to find this. It's a good example. Here it is. This one's good to watch. So if I wanted to get rid of I can make it bigger, but then get rid of all the extra, right? That could also have been dragged into a frame, okay? And I could have she could be in a flower. So I'd go back up to elements, come on down to frames, bring the frame in, and then now I can take this and drag it around and put her in a frame. But when you put them in a frame, you can also double click and zoom and stuff like that. Okay, so you can bring in all sorts of images, and you can record right within the program. So we'll go ahead and click on this girl's video and delete it, and you can see that that's a frame. Now, if I go back to uploads, I can choose upload media, bring something up from my device, or I can hit record yourself right here. Okay, and then I just need to tell it which camera to use. Hold on one second. All right, so then it's going to do this. Hi there, my name is Avra, and I have been a teacher for 25 years. Okay, so then I hit done right here. And then at this point, I can come up to the top right where it says save and exit. And it's going to throw it in here. My name is sorry. It's going to throw it right in there. It's also going to put it up here into my kind of my media files. And then this can be dragged right in. So when we think about kids, like this is probably where I'd start. I'd have them record themselves right within Canva and then drag their picture in and then embellish it with, depending on how much time you have and what your objective is, but then they could embellish it with different clip art and, you know, animations and all of that. And then what you're going to do is decide how you want to share it, how you want to publish it. So they can, you know, as kids, and I'm not doing a good job, you guys, of showing like the back and forth with how kids can turn things in, teachers can give feedback, but I have a whole series of videos on it where I kind of do 2 different accounts and do the whole thing. It's a little easier to see. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Yes?
I'm sorry, could you tell me how to get the picture into the frame again?
Yeah.
My picture's not going.
It's hard. So you just, it's kind of a finesse thing. So drag it around until you, here, you put the, let me get rid of that awful thing. So if you've got a picture that you've uploaded and it's over here, is it over on the left-hand side? Or do you need to get a picture in general? So, yeah, so you kind of bring it over and just kind of hover over it until it kind of pops in.
And it only works with a photo or a video, correct? It doesn't work with an icon or a
Like a clip art thing, yeah. Let's try it.
It has to be like the star.
No, it went in. It went in. It seemed like I think you can do whatever. So like, let's try to put the carrots in here. Yeah, they went in too.
Okay.
So I think it works with whatever. Yeah.
Is the frame also how you would do the remove the background green screen?
Let me show you the remove the background right now. I will do that right now. But I want to make sure, the lady in the back, did you get your picture in?
No, but I'm working on it.
Okay, I can come back to you after the session and show you because I know we're almost, you got it? Awesome, okay. Yeah, you guys, let me show you the green screening thing real quick here, okay? I'm just gonna go down and make a new page so I've got a blank page, okay? And let me just go to elements here and I'm gonna type in beach, okay? And we'll throw beach here. You guys, when you drag an element into Canva, you can right click on it and choose replace background or make it as a background. It'll also let you remove it from being the background, so that'll put it in and make it a whole background for you. And then to bring in an image and put someone kind of in there, let me grab a good picture here of someone standing up. All right, so we'll grab my son. Oh, I think that's video, sorry, hold on. Yeah, I am I'm in images, okay. Okay, here we go. So there's my daughter on a different beach, but all you do is go up to edit image right here, and then background remover's right there. And so you'll see it takes a second, and then it's gonna remove her from the beach in Florida and put her in this shiny fancy beach that Canva had, okay? So there you go.
Could you do that one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I did is I searched up a beach and made it the background, and then all you do is go over to your images and bring any image in. This can be a Canva image, it can be your image, and then you go up to edit image, and you do background remover right here. That little button. Did you see it with the beach ball on it? And then it just does it. And it puts it in there, and then, you know, I could crop out all this white space if I wanted to, but then that's a possibility too, yeah. I've tried. I can. It does work, but I don't know if it'll do a background remover for the video. So I put a still image on top of a video, but it just looks awkward. You know what I mean? So, but I played with it. So, and I know like remove.bg, I think has a video option. I just haven't played with it. So that might be a possibility to make it, to make it that. So you guys, I know we're down to like 3 minutes. So let me just pop into my slides and see what else is in here that I knew present and record. Here's the last thing I'll leave you with, okay? It has an option in here to kind of to do a present and record, which is like build a screencast or narrate your slides right within Canva, okay? So what you would do is you would open up a slideshow that you've got, okay? So let me go into Canva, my home screen here. Let's just use the Hadley Blair one. If I come up to the top right, 3 dots, there's an option to present and record, okay? So this could be you guys, this could be your students. You click right here where it says go to recording studio, okay? And then it's gonna ask about your microphone and all of that, and then it puts a little circle of you somewhere, and it lets you talk through your slides. So it puts it down here in the bottom left, and it lets you talk through your slides. You can have speaker notes over here on the right, okay? So it makes it where you can make this really nice polished video of a slideshow where you're just talking through it. So kids could build a whole slideshow in here if they wanted, and then talk through it, and it's just gonna store it in Canva, or you can download it as an MP4. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause right here, and then hit end and hit done. Did you have a question?
Oh, I didn't know if you put up the address of your slide.
I'm going to right now. So you guys, that's another option. So obviously there's way more in here than I was able to get to, but let me throw this up here for you. I will also put this in Sched if you want, if it's easier for you, but here is the shortened URL, so bit.ly/storytelling with Canva. So you've got it, okay? I know it went fast. I told you I had about 5 hours worth in only 1 hour, so thanks for hanging in there with me. I'm happy to answer questions if you're heading to lunch. If you want to stay and ask questions, or if you need help with anything, let me know. I'd be happy to help, okay? I'll come back and see you. Okay, you're welcome.